She sent one final message before disappearing into the streets of Lagos. "I'm almost there." She never arrived. In a city overflowing with people, traffic, and noise, a young woman walked out of her home and vanished without a trace. No struggle. No witnesses. No confirmed destination. Just silence. This is not a movie. This is not a rumor. This is a real case that remains unresolved. What happened after she left home that evening? Who was she going to meet? And how does someone disappear so completely in one of Africa's busiest cities? Tonight, the Dark Africa Crime Vault opens a sealed file, uncovering timelines, unanswered questions, and disturbing possibilities behind a disappearance that still haunts those left behind. Watch closely. Listen carefully. Because somewhere in this story, the truth is still hiding. Do you think this case will ever be solved? Subscribe to the Dark Africa Crime Vault for more African true crime stories that refuse to stay buried. At exactly 6:18 p.m., she sent one final message. "I'm almost there." She never arrived. Her phone went silent. Her footsteps vanished into one of the busiest cities on the African continent. And to this day, no one can say with certainty what happened after she left home in Lagos. Lagos is a city that never truly rests. Even at night, it hums. Engines idle. Horns cry out. Footsteps echo on concrete. Millions of lives overlap in a constant state of motion. It is a city where people vanish into crowds every day, most of them by choice. But sometimes, someone disappears without choosing to. This is one of those cases. A disappearance so ordinary in its beginning that no one recognized the danger until it was far too late. She was in her mid-20s. Quiet by nature. Responsible. The kind of person who followed routines, not risks. Friends described her as cautious, almost predictable. Family members trusted her judgment because she rarely acted impulsively. She lived at home. Not because she lacked independence, but because it made sense. Lagos was expensive. Traffic was unforgiving. Living close to family meant safety. The morning of her disappearance began without drama. She woke early. Went about her routine. Ate breakfast. Spoke casually with those around her. There was no visible tension in her voice. No argument. No emotional goodbye. Nothing that would later stand out as a warning sign. If someone had been watching closely, they would have seen a normal day unfolding. By afternoon, the weather was warm, the air thick with the kind of humidity Lagos residents barely notice anymore. Around 4:30 p.m., she dressed to leave. Simple clothing. Comfortable shoes. Nothing that suggested travel. No suitcase. No backpack. Just a small handbag, her phone, and the expectation that she would return. She told her family she was going out briefly. She said she was meeting someone. Someone she trusted. Those words would later replay endlessly in the minds of the people she left behind. At 5:47 p.m., a security camera captured her walking out of the compound. The footage was unremarkable. She didn't rush. She didn't look over her shoulder. Her posture was relaxed. Her pace steady. It was the walk of someone who believed she would be home later that evening. That footage would become the last confirmed image of her alive. From there, she merged into the city. Public transport in Lagos is a world of its own. Danfo buses, tricycles, pedestrians weaving between lanes. People board, disembark, vanish into intersections. Surveillance exists, but not everywhere. Coverage breaks. Cameras fail. Power outages interrupt recordings. Somewhere along that route, she boarded transport. Investigators later confirmed this much. But beyond that point, the trail dissolved. 31 minutes after leaving home, at 6:18 p.m., her phone buzzed. A message sent to a close friend. I'm almost there. It was casual. Brief. Unalarming. And it would become the most chilling detail of the entire case. Because no one knows where there was. The message did not include a location. No follow-up text explained it. No call accompanied it. Just 4 words, suspended in time. After that message, her digital presence ended. Calls went unanswered. Messages were left unread. Her phone rang for a while, then stopped entirely. By 9 p.m., it was switched off. At first, concern was restrained. Lagos traffic could delay anyone. Phones ran out of battery. Meetings ran long. The city was chaotic, but predictable in its unpredictability. But as hours passed, unease grew. Midnight came. Then 1 in the morning. Then dawn. She had never stayed out overnight without informing someone. Not once. Not even during emergencies. That consistency was part of who she was. By the following day, calm had turned to panic. Her phone remained off. Friends were contacted. Some were confused. Some were alarmed. None had seen her. Co-workers were questioned. She had not shown up. She had not called in sick. She had not sent a message. Hospitals were visited. Names were checked. No record. The realization slowly set in, she had vanished without telling anyone where she was going. The case was reported. Investigators began retracing her final movements. CCTV footage confirmed her exit from home. Additional footage showed her entering public transport. But Lagos is not a city where cameras blanket every corner. At a certain point, the footage ended. No clear image of where she disembarked. No clear image of who she met. No clear image of what happened next. Her bank accounts showed no activity. No withdrawals. No transfers. Her cards were untouched. Her social media accounts went silent. No posts. No likes. No late-night activity. It was as if her life had been paused. Questioning those closest to her revealed something unsettling. In the days before her disappearance, she had mentioned meeting someone new. Not a stranger, she implied. Someone familiar enough to trust. But she never shared a name. No one could identify this person. No one knew how long they had been in contact. No one knew where they planned to meet. That absence of detail became the center of the mystery. Why would someone so cautious leave without sharing basic information? Why meet someone without telling anyone where? And why send a final message that suggested she was moments away from arrival? Theories emerged quickly. Some believed she was lured. That the meeting was intentional, planned by someone who understood her habits and her trust. Someone who knew she would not raise suspicion by leaving quietly. Others believed it was a crime of opportunity. That she crossed paths with the wrong person at the wrong time in a city that rarely stops moving. There were whispers of a secret relationship. A private connection she kept hidden. Something she didn't want family interference in. But whispers are not evidence. No witnesses came forward. And in a city like Lagos, silence is common. People avoid involvement. Fear and distrust discourage testimony. As weeks passed, frustration grew. Posters were printed. Faces stared back from walls and street corners. But Lagos is vast, and paper fades quickly. Calls came in with false leads. Sightings that went nowhere. Rumors that collapsed under scrutiny. Each lead raised hope. Each dead end deepened despair. Months turned into years. Her family continued waiting. Every ringing phone caused hearts to race. Every unknown number carried possibility. Every delay felt cruel. There was no body to bury. No confirmation of death. No closure. Just absence. Investigators eventually reduced activity. Resources were limited. New cases demanded attention. The file grew thicker, then quieter. The case did not end. It simply slipped into silence. But silence does not erase questions. Somewhere in Lagos, the truth still exists. Was she betrayed by someone she trusted? Was she targeted deliberately? Or did she become invisible in a city that consumes people every day? Her final message still exists. Preserved on a phone. For simple words that now carry unbearable weight. I'm almost there. But where was there? And who was waiting? In cities like Lagos, disappearances don't always leave bloodstains or broken doors. Sometimes, they leave nothing at all. Just unanswered questions. And a life that ended without explanation. If you have a theory about what happened, share it in the comments. Which African case should we open next? Subscribe to the Dark Africa Crime Vault. Because some stories refuse to stay buried.